I just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk a little bit about the tariffs that are going on now in the world. And that's not very good for the whole world, but especially Americans. And why is that? I mean, first of all, this creates like a turmoil in the whole market, stock market, bond market, debt, and this affects people's households who are invested in the market, who have a mortgage. Everyone who has assets are losing capitals. They're losing money on the because everything is falling down. Even the gold was falling down during this because of this uncertainty. It's a huge change into the economic world order that those tariffs around the world. I mean, Europeans are replying back. Canadians are not like, okay, yeah, do that. They're retaliating, and Chinese you've seen retaliating really well, a lot, not well. I don't know if it's well, but it's a lot, back and forth. But Chinese have secret weapons more than just tariffs. They own 760 billion of US Treasury bonds. That's a huge amount. It's not. It's not. It's not that huge compared to how many Americans own. Americans own 70% of their bonds. 70% of the whole bond market is owned domestically by Americans, and 30% by the rest of the world. I have the figures here. Federal Reserves owns 14%, US government agencies 21%, mutual funds about 3.8 trillion. It doesn't say percentage here, but foreign ownership is only 30%, with the country which has the most amount of bonds is Japan on $1.08 trillion denominated bonds, worth of bonds. China is second on 760 billions. Third is United Kingdom, 740 billion, Luxembourg, and so on. But China used to be the most, like, I'm going to tell you now, like few years ago, which was 2018. 2018 had 1.3 trillion, I think. And yeah, it peaked on 2013, 1.317 trillion owned by China, and now it's down to 760. And they can offload the whole amount if they want and plummet the market. Whoever owns bonds, now I own bonds, American bonds as well, and I'm losing money. I know it's hard. Even if there's safe haven, they're not. You can lose money as well there. So pension funds, banks own 1.7 trillion. It's more than Japan, but all the banks domestically are owning 1.7 trillion. They're losing money. Some small banks might go bankrupt, like we've seen in SVB as well. And yeah, everything is dropping as well. Mutual funds have like 3.8 trillion. State and local governments in the US own 2.1 trillion. And yeah, and not only that, yields are going up. Yields, what does that mean though? If yields go up, means if safe haven go from 4 to 4.5, investors are looking more than 4.5%. And this puts pressure on the Fed to this put pressure on government, on businesses as well, because they will have to, their own bonds will have to be more than the safe haven. They'll have to give like 5% of a coupon, or 6% or 7%, depending on the risk, how risky the business is. So it makes businesses lending more expensive, which reduces the ability of the business to expand, or predict the future, plan the future, whatever, which will come which will introduce many problems into American businesses. Not only that, but the tariffs also. If a business depends on Europe or outside America, they're going to lose money because those countries or Europe or Canada, they're retaliating, so they're increasing their tariffs as well. So it's becoming more expensive for American companies to export as well as import. And if they import some stuff, small stuff, in order to assemble them and then sell them somewhere else, this is they pay more for importing different parts, for example, and then they pay more tariffs, and or not they, but the Europeans pay more, even more tariffs to get American products. So it's a double kind of increase, not just on imports but on exports as well. So Europeans might as well, say, okay, it doesn't make sense for me to buy from America anymore. Let me build domestically. So everybody will start to build domestically. It's all about incentives. And American companies who sell outside America, they will have to restructure their companies to start selling in America, for example, or only America, if it makes more sense for them. So yeah, it's a game of incentives and game or, I don't know how is this gonna end or whatever, but it's definitely not good for American people. They if they own stocks or assets in the market, they're losing some of their money, let's say. But as well is the whole thing being inflationary, which means higher taxes on imports will increase prices on all goods sold in America, which be transferred on the consumer. Everything is more expensive, and this is inflationary for the American citizen, which has already less disposable income because if they own assets, they have less disposable income because their houses prices, interest rates will go up if the Fed decides to, which makes sense if they decide to increase the interest rate because inflation is going to go up, or also the yields are going up, the bond yields are going up. This puts inflationary pressure, which banks will be forced to increase their interest rates in order to protect themselves. And yeah, all this pressure goes on American businesses, American people, and there will only be losses. And if American companies can't find a way to produce those stuff domestically, which is impossible, I don't think it's possible. If American people demand more salary, how is it companies are gonna create an environment in America to assemble like iPhones or small stuff like can be assembled and sold like for $1 in China, for example, now, or another country. Already Apple is looking to go and do their stuff in India. They're having talks in India and move their factories there now. So there is incentives, like they need to find new trade routes, businesses. Probably, maybe Chinese companies as well will start selling to Mexico and more, and then from Mexico imports to America that find their way to America. But I don't know how this trade war is gonna end, but it doesn't look that good for the whole world in general. Everybody will start to sell, to start to create their stuff internally. Everybody who's dealing with America, let's say, everybody who's dealing with America will have to find different ways to deal with America, or not deal with America at all. And this will create new balances and new allies. So that's some thoughts that I had recently, and yeah, I'm gonna update you later.